Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm back with another tutorial of sorts on how to make this particular banner in Photoshop. Now this design is going to cover Discord server banners, Discord server banners being the banner that shows up in the top corner of the Discord server if that feature is enabled for you, Twitter banner, which is self-explanatory, along with YouTube banner, and that is also self-explanatory. Normally, I'd recommend Photopea as a free alternative to Photoshop, but some of the things that I'll be showing you how to do in this banner would be, I don't want to say impossible in Photopea, but probably very difficult, because while it does have a lot of the same features as Photoshop, it's missing some of the more helpful filter options that you would need to accomplish some of the effects that you see in this design. I also want to note that I want to try a different approach to doing these tutorials. I've started learning how to do pixel art recently, and I found that if I follow a tutorial that goes step by step throughout the process, I end up copying what that person did part by part, and while I might learn a little bit, I find that it's when I watch ones that are more focused on techniques or how to do certain things, say how to make a leaf, how to shade, those I find a lot more helpful than following something step by step by step. So I want to try that. I'm going to go over a couple things in this design that I think are more complicated to figure out on your own, and the rest of it is really just layers upon layers upon layers, mixed with some brushes and some blending options. So without further ado, let's jump right into how you can accomplish this. Now I first want to start off by mentioning that if you're planning to edit this, which of course you are, that's why you're watching probably, changing the color scheme is going to be very time consuming. There isn't really a way for me to make it easy to do. You have to go through each of these. So each of these X shapes, you have to go into blending options, go over to drop shadow, and change these pinks to something else. And you notice that right here is now become blue. So you have to go through each and every one of these, making sure that you match the hue. So you notice your different shades of pink, lighters and darkers. So you have to go through each one of these and get that sorted through. Now I think there's a neat shortcut. If you're on the move tool, you can do alt click or control click. Yep, if you control click on a certain shape or part of the design, it'll take you right to the location in the layers where you can find it. So if you find something that you missed when doing the color swaps, you can just do control click on PC, Windows. I say on PC, Windows, that's the operating system, that's what matters. Yep, just control click and you'll go right to it. Now for the blur, I'm going to leave this in here. This is a little guide of how to accomplish the effects, but essentially you want to go to your rectangular marquee tool on the left, and I just held the left mouse button down until the more options popped up. Rectangular marquee, highlight over the entire canvas, go to edit, copy merged, and then do right click, deselect, then do Control V, or just edit, and then there's a paste. And then you'll notice this layer on top is now a layer that has everything that we just made. Then we'll go over to filter, blur gallery, iris blur, and from here you want to hold shift as you do every single step of this process. So hold shift on your keyboard, go to the top and drag up, go to the left, oops, that just changed the focus, and drag to the left to about the ends. Then go over to your blur up here and bring this down to maybe 4 or 5, maybe even 3. I'm gonna go with 4. And there we go, we have a nice blur around the edges of the image. Okay, that's the first effect of note. The second, it would be, I suppose we can do this shape in the corner. So going down into the base, line square, you see this square shape here has these line patterns going through it. And you may be thinking, oh, how'd you make that? Did you just Google image it? No. So let's hide that square, open the make it, and you'll see here that we took a line pattern, which you can find in one of the Tsuke graphics packs. I believe the first graphics pack video has the line pattern, though you can just grab it from here as well, because I'm going to leave it inside this file. So I took it, I rotated it, I have a rectangle that has rounded edges below it, and to make that I went to the left, dragged the rectangle down while holding shift to make sure it's proportionate, then I rounded the edges, and a quick tip, you can hold control and drag left or right to make things more or less rounded. Then I have my little line pattern on top of it. Back to the rectangle layer, I hold control, I click on the rectangle. Now the rectangle is outlined. If we return over to our little lines, we can do a Control J, hide the layer below it, hide the rectangle, and we now have our nice little lines ready to go. And again, to edit the color, blending options, color overlay, and you are good to go from there. And the last thing I think would be of note would be these hearts up here and the line pattern that goes just about along with the shape of the heart itself. I'll probably make a separate video on this because this is a really useful thing to know, and it's pretty helpful for certain types of designs. But basically, to make it, you want to take the outline of your shape. Quick way to do that is to hold control, click on the thumbnail of the image as I just did, and now this is outlined. Then go to select, modify, contract, and I think we'll probably want to do 25 pixels. Yep, that works. Then go over to our rectangular marquee tool, right click, make work path, tolerance, I think 10. Yeah, that should be good. Then go over to our pen tool, and depending on the scenario, you might have to make some adjustments to this shape here. Hold control and come over to one of the points and then just drag around. So this center was off to the left. I'm going to drag it to the actual center. This curve here is a little messy, so I can add in a new point here by holding Alt and clicking. Then I'm going to hold Control and then drag this around, try to make that curve a little better. I'm just doing this quickly, so it's not going to be much better, but you can get the idea. I'm going to hold Alt again, and actually this one I can probably just drag. Yeah, let's go with that and say that's fine, even though it's still a little messy, but we can work with that. Then at the top, you'll notice 3 different buttons: Selection, Mask, and Shape. I'm going to click Shape, and now we have this beautiful heart. And from here, we're going to go over to our rectangle tool, take off the fill, add a stroke, go to this option here, change it to dots. Let's put this at 4 and go back to the dots, click more options. So the caps, rounds, corners, I don't think that really does much, but put round as well just in case. Gap, let's do 4, let's do 3. And that's basically how you do that. Again, this version's a little messy because I took it quickly, but if you take it slow and take the time to edit it properly, it will look fine. When it comes to downscaling, there's 2 ways you can try doing it. I'm pretty sure if you right click, let's merge it down, and you downscale it just like that, that should work. But another way you can do it is just like this, and you notice the line is really big now compared to the image, so you can come back and make some adjustments to it still. So 3, and then maybe put this down at 2, and then that should be good. Cool, and then to actually save it, you can do File, Export, Save for Web, and that will compress it down, make it easy to upload, or just a file, save as, and then select PNG. With that, that marks a wrap to this video. Hope you found it helpful. Let me know if you like this new style of tutorial. And with that, I hope you have an awesome day.